What is up? What is going on? Welcome back to the podcast. Good morning. Happy, I guess it's Valentine's Day today. One of my friends calls it Singles Awareness. I think I like that. Because that's kind of what I'm celebrating. So today I'm doing what I want to do because that's what I want to do. I'm going to keep busy, kind of always keeping busy. But let's see. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about problems and skills. So the next 3 pages of Lily Singh's B.A. Tranquil book starts this conversation talking about problems and begins to talk about skills. This is pages 8, 9, and 10. Page 8 is a little picture. So really it's only 2 pages. It took me 2 minutes to read it. So we'll get into that kind of in a little bit, but so far today, we're good. When I checked my clock this morning, it was 6:10 a.m. Had some yerba mate. Sunrise time, 6:39 a.m. It was probably about a fourth or less of the bottle, so 35 milligrams of caffeine or less. Yesterday the gym did go good. I did like 3, technically like little 15-minute segments. I was on the elliptical, did a 1-mile warm-up, and that took apparently 14 minutes, which is nuts. Like, I remember when I used to run for PE, I think my best mile time, I wasn't ever really a good runner. I think my average time was usually in the 9-minute range. It was usually around 10-something minutes if I just walked. And then I would jog and it would be 9 minutes. And I think my best time was just under 9 minutes. Like 8-something, but I can't remember what it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't in the 7s. But then again, this is like over 20 years ago, so I don't really remember. I just remember, yeah, there was that. And then I basically was doing what do you call it when it's kind of like, I don't know, like intensity intervals pretty much. Like I would go pretty like heavy resistance until my heart rate was up for a while, and then I'd get back, not quite to resting heart rate, but I feel like intervals kind of help for me with cardio. And so yeah, my mile was like a little over 14 minutes. So I'm real slow. But I was raising the resistance pretty high. Like I was doing it like kind of in steps, so I was going between the 1 and 1. all the way low, and then like every other minute I was going up like 2 notches higher. And I think I started at like 4 and 6, and then kept increasing in like increments of like 2, like every other minute or so. So it was a little much. Actually, that might not be right. That might not be the right time because, well, yeah, that counts that the first 5 minutes I was just kind of like warming up too. So I wasn't fully stretched or warmed up at all before I started on the elliptical. I just did that. I didn't do cycling. I thought I was going to do cycling. Um, I passed up on it just as like uh, not really a time thing, but my legs were pretty worn after the elliptical, and I was like, I don't want to overdo it, otherwise I'll be like limping around and like, you know, like I have a very low uh, tolerance right now for like too long and too heavy of workouts. Um, I did like stretching and yoga for 15 minutes after that, and then upper body. It was basically curls, but I was using those. There are these weights that are like, not the dumbbells, but the weights that are like, that you put on the barbell. They This gym has the type that kind of clip in to this little like, you know, I don't know what you call it, but the end piece kind of clips, and then you kind of press a little lever for it to unclip the weights. And so uh, the bigger weights are 16.5 pounds, and then there's like medium that's like 5.5. So I was doing curls with those, not on the barbell, just the weights. They have like grips in the middle and the sides, and so I was doing curls with the 16, uh, the 5.5, and then doing those like calf raises. So I did 3 sets of those. I don't know how many reps I did. I wasn't really counting. I was just doing it. I just do it till my form starts to kind of suffer, and then I'm like, okay, my form is bad, and I just kind of stop. Um, so I do the 16.5 curls, the 5.5 pound curls, and then the calf raises. Then I went into the steam room for like a second. Um, and then left and went into the sauna. And yeah, so basically, I didn't get home. I picked up Subway on the way home, and I got home around, I don't know what time it was. I was like on my way to the car at like noon, and so I left the gym a little after noon. I think I got home at like 12:30 or something. I don't know. This doesn't sound right. This time feels off because I didn't eat lunch till like almost 2, but I had my protein shake pretty much a few minutes after I got home, so that I could kind of linger a bit. Because the day before, I remembered it took a while once I got back from the gym. I was a little slow. Um, but I did do some vaping yesterday, even during the daytime, honestly. So I feel like maybe that kind of slowed me down. I think it kind of slows me down as far as like being able to kind of rush, because I just was not rushing. I was taking my time, which is fine. Not every day needs to be rushed. Like I don't, I was off of my time where I was saying I was gonna have lunch at 12. Ended up having lunch at 2. I was pretty hyped up yesterday, pretty energetic. So So instead of working on my website at 1 p.m., probably around 3 something, I had a lot in my system. So I had a little bit of C4 yesterday before the gym. I don't know how much I had. Um, let's call it like 30. Let's call it like, I don't think it was, maybe it was 50 milligrams. I don't know. And I can't remember how much yerba mate I had. I had a pretty big breakfast of 2 scrambled eggs and with one egg white, and I basically just threw a bunch of pico in the eggs, scrambled them up, had a veggie dog on the side, added some avocado, had a little bit of oats, like maybe half a cup of oats, with some strawberries, some really huge strawberries. Um, the the protein shake I'm using is the organic protein by Orgain, chocolate flavor. It's the plant-based powder in the white and green container. Not the grass-fed one. The grass-fed one has like milk products. I didn't really want to use, animal milk because my stomach doesn't really enjoy that too much. Um, and yeah, I kind of got a little distracted yesterday from all the caffeine, and I think I also had a vitamin water, and I think those have B12, so I think my energy was pretty ramped up, and I ended up studying something most of the evening, and then just kind of like jamming to some music, dancing around a little bit, and like I had fun, but as far as the website, I didn't do much of anything. I've been recording. One of the recordings I made yesterday afternoon wasn't really too focused, so I've got to edit that today. And I've got topics for today that I want to go through, so yeah, yesterday ended up going pretty good, but it was on the productive side for the website, it wasn't that good, but for other stuff, it was good. So I didn't do too many things. I did a few things, but it was good. I already worked on my to-do list this morning while I was having my yerba mate. So basically, record start time for me is like 7 a.m. today. Pretty much. Well, let's say 7:02, but 7 a.m. I'll have breakfast like 8:30, and I've got this Better Business Bureau PayPal kind of thing going on since like January, so it's been just under a month that they're reviewing a report that I sent them about an issue with PayPal, because I got a website that's got PayPal linked to it, and I've been having issues with it. So I just reported PayPal to the Better Business Bureau. Like, I don't think they really properly reviewed my website, and they were basically banning payments like within the first like 5 minutes of the site even being up, before anything really even happened. So, well, the site had been up, I guess, but I don't know if it was after a purchase or if it was just when I linked PayPal. I can't remember. This was like almost a month ago now. It's like 3 weeks ago. I need to work on the website. I do need to do that sometime today. So I'm pushing my exercise to later, and I'll do it at home sometime before dinner. So I put 3 p.m. Maybe it'll be 4 p.m. But my dinner is going to be my protein tonight. I need to choose a new 30-day exercise routine as well. So basically I'm going to have lunch at 1, do some recording and editing after lunch, figure out what I want my exercise routine to be, and then by about 3 or 4, do the exercising, and then we'll see where my day goes from there. But my day's pretty much going 7 to 3. um. So yeah, I've got something that I'm probably not gonna talk about that on here. Like, it's not a big deal. It just doesn't fit with any of the topics um, that I usually discuss. So that's pretty much how my day is gonna be laid out. Just like yesterday and the day before, and I mean all the days that I've been writing on the to-do list. I feel like when I choose a time for myself to do things, uh, when I leave the house, it's hard for me to be on time. Like yesterday, it was hard for me to be on time because I had this whole situation, having to comb my hair and stuff. So I was already going to be about 10 minutes late leaving the house, like according to when I had set to leave at 10. And it was like a little after 10. And then I think I actually left the house around 10:40 because it takes me about 30 minutes sometimes to like get all my stuff together, comb my hair, get dressed, you know. And I didn't really think it was going to take that long, and it ended up taking that long. So, I mean, I'm on a time crunch that I've created myself, right? So there is flexibility. It's not like anybody was waiting for me. It's not like my only real thing that I was thinking was, I tried to time the protein consumption for the recovery from a workout. So if I'm timing it, it's kind of like, usually they say within 30 minutes to an hour. I've heard 30 minutes. The trainer I initially had told me an hour after workout. You have to have protein within the hour. Basically, it's like a metabolism thing, I believe, so that your body has access to protein, so it doesn't really feel like it needs to like maybe wear away or eat away at the muscle that you gain, like it's to retain muscle. C4 does give you a bit of a pump. There were some other pre-workouts I used to use that I was curious about. What do you call it? Dang, what do you call it? It's, I was curious about kind of how the muscles react, because I wasn't sure if it was because of like just the releasing water all the time. I remember that way back, and maybe I just used to drink a lot of water, but I remember I used to have certain, maybe it was the protein shakes. I used to have certain protein shakes, and I remember, I would go to the bathroom like a lot after having these protein shakes, and I would need the bathroom, have the protein shakes, um, and then, um, you know, um, just, yeah, it would just, I felt like I would go to the bathroom a lot, so I wasn't sure if it was a water thing, like the muscle that looks like you gain, maybe it's because of not having enough water. Because I did hear something about, like, I'm not saying this is like a recommended thing, like, but I did hear something about people who do like photo shoots, like models and stuff. Sometimes they don't consume a lot of, um, water or anything so that their muscles look more defined. And I was wondering if that's what was happening with that protein shake. Not the one that I have now, but there was one I used to get from like Lindbergh Nutrition. Um, I just don't know what it was. It wasn't the Lindbergh brand because that one tasted disgusting. It tastes like aspirin. Um, this was a different brand, but it was like the same type, and I don't remember what it was exactly. But I remember a trainer told me about it, and I got it, and it was okay. It was like the flavor was good, but I think back then it used to be like $20, like $19, $18, for like a 30-day worth supply. So I don't know. I'm still kind of a little bit learning about, you know, protein shakes and stuff, but I am trying to be careful with caffeine. Like yesterday, I noticed I did have a weird caffeine crash, kind of like a little bit of a mood situation going on. Like I was pretty irritable, but I think I also was like pretty hungry because after I ate lunch, I felt a lot better. And after I had my shake, my protein shake, even before lunch, I felt better. So, um, there was that. But, so yeah. Um, so let's talk a little bit about, problem solving and skills. Um, I would say, so regarding problem solving, I think I heard Sadhguru say the same thing in Joe Rogan's podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. Like they had talked about, you know, a bit about like mental health, happiness, like what someone could potentially do um, to kind of feel like things are improving for them. And they kind of came to this conclusion saying, if somebody wants those improvements, Sadhguru gave an example. Joe Rogan's a strong person, trained in martial arts and everything. And, if you look at a table, there's a screw in the table. And if somebody asked him, can you remove the screw? Um, you know, you'd be left with just like your body. He mentioned like you could try to use your nail on your finger, you could try to use your teeth, but, that's not really how those things are designed to get, removed. And it would be, if you were able to remove it, it would be a whole lot harder trying to use your fingernail or something like that, versus if somebody just gives you a screwdriver, you can simply just use it. And it was kind of an example they were giving of, to have the tools, have the adequate tools, have the proper tools, and that kind of translates into, with feeling good about things and having like better days. It takes a lot of tools. Like, it's one thing to have, you know, just like ability of your body and things like that, but it's like if a person doesn't have the tools to manage things like depression, anxiety, or whatever it may be, or if they have the tools but don't use the tools, um, then it's going to be harder to feel better. And so, if I apply that even in my own life, it's kind of like, that's why I started recording in this way, just kind of explaining the bits of things that I've been doing. Um, because, when you talk about the stuff that you do, you kind of start realizing, that kind of worked a little bit. I feel better when I do this versus when I do that. Like for me, the eating better has helped me, even though I'm not eating like so much better, but it's definitely better. I'm definitely eating better. Um, I've been sleeping a little bit better too. I had an edible last night. It was a THC with CBN and CBD. I had it late too. I had it like at 10 p.m. I have one more left, which means I've had a lot of them. But I was not sure if I was actually gonna sleep on time, and I think I my lights out was late yesterday. I had to kind of talk myself like okay, like you gotta turn this music off because you're getting pretty pumped up. And I was like, oh great, I got my energy up too high, and you know it was around, I don't know what time, but basically um, around 10 I had an edible, but just before 10 I was kind of like dancing around and stuff. And then I told myself, I was like, lay down, get rest. um, so I put on a candle, and around 10:45 or so, maybe 10:50, I started noticing that edible was kicking in, and I wanted to put on something relaxing to listen to, and I was like, you know what, I think I'm just gonna fall asleep as is. So I just, put out the candle, and I was probably asleep around 11 and woke up around 6, and so that's kind of enough sleep. Um, I was sore when I went to bed last night. I was pretty sore, and I woke up this morning. I'm not really feeling sore like that. So I think I got restful, fitful sleep, and that's good. But, if I wouldn't have done any kind of routine or sleep aid or anything to kind of like get me to go to bed, I don't think I would have gone to bed on time. And so, like, I'm not saying people have to have edibles and things like that, but it's like I did have to catch myself and be like, hey, it's getting late. You usually when you're up this late listening to music and dancing around, you're going to be up past midnight, and then that's going to affect your next day. I'm pretty motivated to record on this podcast before about 9:30 a.m. because I'm up, I'm by myself. Nobody else in the house is awake, and so I don't feel like I'm bothering anybody, and I don't feel like people can overhear me. And I don't, I don't know. When I'm recording certain stuff, I don't really like to be overheard. Um, I mean, it's kind of weird to say because it's like, yeah, I'm posting on the internet, you know, but I don't really want my family members like listening in. But um, yeah, like when it comes to even like good sleep, proper sleep, it takes tools to do that for me. Edibles are a form of a tool. I'm not saying people have to use that kind of stuff. There's other stuff like relaxing videos, ASMR, sleep meditations, and all those kind of lo-fi episodes of this kind of like audio and little animation tracks, meditation, reading, audiobooks, like or just trying to like talk yourself down sleep wise, like breath work is a big one. There's a lot of stuff that people can do for sleep and relaxation and rest. It doesn't have to come from some kind of sleep aid or anything. Um, and dang, are the neighbors' gardeners already here? Today the gardeners are supposed to come for the neighbors. Um, so yeah, I did end up using a skill last night, and it worked. Um, but originally, I probably would have ignored it. But because I knew I had things I wanted to do today, like recording in the morning, I mean, today's only Tuesday, So I don't want to get too far off my routine. Like Wednesdays, I'll give myself a little wiggle room because I'm like, all right, it's midweek. Maybe I need to kind of take it a little easier. But um, yeah, Tuesday, like we're only the second day in. So, it is kind of hard for me sometimes to have discipline to do what I need. Um, I mean, it's hard, like, because it's like if I didn't make the decision to go to bed earlier yesterday, I wouldn't have been able to wake up earlier today. And I noticed how I felt when I woke up. I woke up and I was like, I do feel a little groggy, but I hadn't had any caffeine yet. But I was feeling a little groggy, and that's kind of normal. That's normal. I think I'm gonna have my breakfast at 8 and not 8:30. But yeah, that's kind of normal to be groggy. So I kind of leave that. I kind of let it go because I'm like, I'm gonna be groggy. Like that's natural. I push pretty long in the morning, um, and so my energy does tick up from the yerba mate. Um, and so that was one skill just for sleeping. The edibles are like a tool. Um, the relaxation type of stuff, the whole routine I have at night is a bit of a tool. Um, I was listening to Tool last night. Um, I yeah, that's how I got all pumped up. I was listening. The combination of these three songs, Schism, Parable, I guess it's Parable, and Parabola. Um, those three songs, the sequence of those three songs together is just like, it warms my heart. Um, it, I don't know, like, I love those songs. Um, but they're not really the type of song you really want to listen to like right before bed. Like, so, um, but yeah, there's that. There's, you know, like sleep is a big one for me. And I have to keep reminding myself that I'm only really working on three things, sleep, exercise, and eating well. And those are just three things that I make the choices on. I make the choice when I'm going to sleep or wake up. I make the choice when I'm going to eat or not. I did have some days last week that I was like lazier. I mean, I mentioned that, I had some granola bar days and like not only eating granola bars, but like literally I was so lazy that for breakfast I didn't want to get up and cook meals. And I normally cook. Um, I'll cook my breakfast almost every day. So I was a little like bummed out, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Last week was just like whatever. Um, I was still kind of getting things going. But this week is going a lot smoother so far. Um, and then, yeah, like with eating, really, it's been taking just a little bit more thinking. And there's a lot of stuff that I've realized that I kind of keep on autopilot. Like, I don't really think things through. Like, especially like the sleep thing. Ordinarily, I would just be like, not even thinking about, oh, what time is it? What do I need to do to like get to make sure I go to sleep on time? Ordinarily, I would just like do whatever the heck I want to do and then be like, dang, it's late and I'm up late, and I'm pumped up and I don't want to go to sleep yet. And I'd be getting frustrated that I'm not sleeping early. and I'd be frustrated at how late it's getting and wouldn't use anything that I need to use to like get myself to try to sleep. I would just be like noticing that, hey, I need to sleep, but I wouldn't use any kind of tool. Um, Kind of same thing for eating. Eating for me is more so like I don't really have a budget luckily right now. Like I'm trying not to spend too much, but I mean I don't really have like much of a food budget. So I can kind of just do whatever. If I don't have a food budget, I should have no excuse of eating healthy. Like, there's plenty of delicious foods. There's a Korean market near me. There's a Whole Foods near me. There's a Sprouts near me. There's the Whole Foods is next to like another a Japanese market. Um, there's plenty of like healthy foods around. Indian food around. Vietnamese food. I'm kind of getting hungry. um, for dinner, I had split pea soup, just one bowl of it with quite a bit of crackers. Uh, I don't know how many, but I want to say maybe a little less than half of one of those packages of saltines. So it was quite a bit. I'd say I ate over 10. I didn't eat over 20 crackers, but I ate over 10. So maybe about 12, 13 crackers or so. Like, I don't know. I ate quite a bit of those. I'm testing out keeping my dinners a little light to see if it kind of helps me sleep earlier. Luckily, um, even with cannabis in my system, I haven't been getting the munchies too bad. I mean, I think the crackers were part of my munchies last night, but I didn't feel like I needed to eat a lot more. Like, usually the munchies for me work differently, and it might be just from having proper nourishment, but I don't really know. But I have noticed I haven't really had the munchies lately. It might also be just because I switched up the edibles I'm using. I really don't know. But that's something that's not normal for me, to not have the munchies. And I've noticed that lately I haven't been having the munchies. But with eating, that's one thing that gets in my way. Cannabis gets in my way when I have the munchies because I will just eat. Um, I wouldn't say it's excessive, but it's not planned and it's not like there's no like plan in place with it. Like, I'm just like, I'm hungry. I want to eat snacks. You know, I even found myself telling myself about those chocolates that my parents got. I was like, oh, if I get the munchies, I can come back in here, and there's like that whole jar of like chocolate, and like I don't need to eat that, like, not every day. Um, so yeah, but um, yeah, and with exercising, that's probably just one thing that I just talk myself out of. That's all it really is. If I'm not injured, there's no real reason to not be able to just simply exercise. Like, I've got plenty of space. I've got a pull-up bar that I like never take down. It's my brother's, and it's in the hallway. I mean, I can't really do pull-ups, but like I can easily just put a chair there. There's a chair in his room that I usually just move. And that's kind of what I wanted to do for my workouts this morning is use the pull-up bar and also, yeah, just mostly use the pull-up bar. And then probably just do some squats and lunges. Like, I'm not going to do anything too excessive. Just keep it pretty simple. Like 30-minute workout, 10 minutes of each. Um, Pull-up bar, squats, lunges. I'll be good to go. Um, And, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time today with the whole getting ready and going to the gym and coming back. Like, it takes a while for me to do that. Like I mentioned yesterday, leaving, like, starting to get ready a little after 10 o'clock, getting to the gym a little before 11, and not really even eating lunch until like maybe 2. So it was basically from like almost 10 to 2 o'clock, you know. That's almost 4 hours out of my day, you know. And I was at the gym maybe a little over an hour if I count everything. Like, it takes over an hour total. Like, if I'm there 45, well, the workouts were 45 minutes worth, but then actually, technically, if I add the sauna, it was about an hour worth of being in the gym, give or take a few minutes. And then counting the drive to or from, that's just under 15 minutes. That's another 30 minutes or so added, and then the 30 minutes to get ready. So it's at least an hour between getting ready and driving, and then another hour being there. And then the stuff in between, like stopping at Subway or something, that's another 15-20 minute thing. And then taking a shower, having a protein shake, that's another 15-20 minute thing, 30-minute thing, so it just starts to add up, especially when I'm not like rushed. It's like, it does add up. Like, I was noticing, I was like, man, today just feels like the clock is just ticking, so when I do go, I'm trying to go to the gym and make the most of it when I do go, and be there for a longer amount of time, because I feel it's more worth the drive and the energy of getting ready and all the driving, like spending all that time. Like, it's not a lot of time, but it does add up, because it did cut into my energy yesterday. So the exercising is going to really have to be, I'm going to decide which days I'll go, but I think I'm not going to go every single day, just because it cuts into the time so much of what I'm trying to do. It really cut into my time. And I kind of ran out of steam by like 3 or so yesterday. I was kind of like, I don't really have the energy to like work on this website anymore, because I spent almost all day trying to like get around, basically, and do what I was doing with the working out. But it was worth it. Like, I definitely feel the difference going to the gym a little bit, like the resistance and the weights and everything. It actually helps a lot. Because mostly when I'm at home, I'm doing like body weight workouts. Um, so more like calisthenic type stuff. So yeah, I'm enjoying this journey. I don't really know what my new workout routine's gonna be. Hopefully, I know by the end of today. Um, I think the first 30 days I tried like a flexibility thing, and then this last 30 days, yesterday was the end of the 30 days of this current period. Um, I was supposed to be doing more like dancing, and I did a little bit, but not as much as I thought I was gonna do. Um, I don't know what I'm gonna do for this 30 days. I mean, I love the gym, but it's just, I'm spending too much time. And I don't know yet if that's an excuse. I don't know if I'm making an excuse saying that I don't want to go to the gym today. It just sounds like a lot, because then I'd have to get ready and do all this other stuff. And it's like, I like going earlier. Earlier is better for me because there's less people, less traffic. Like, in my area, the kids get out of school around 3, and it's LA, so like 3:30, there's traffic. And then by the time it's like 5 o'clock, there's traffic. So you get that little window after the schools get out, like between the school traffic and the work traffic. You get a little lunch rush traffic. Pretty much after 9 a.m. until lunch, or after lunch until schools get out, or after schools get out until rush hour, or after rush hour until like, well, after rush hour is usually like after dinner, because it's like, for me, I like to time exercising with a meal so that all the protein and recovery and everything goes into that meal. um, so for me it helps to work out after. um, but today I'm taking it a little easy on the caffeine. I'm not having any C4, I don't think. um, I don't want to be that pumped up. I might have some C4. I might. But maybe just a little bit. Like less than 25%, or 25, sorry, less than 25 milligrams worth of the caffeine, or 25 max. I don't really want a lot of caffeine in my system. But I feel like the yerba mate, I didn't have a lot of yerba mate today because that was my last one. So, I mean, the caffeine is kind of a tool that I use for getting the exercise going. And I know with C4 in my system, I will work out. Um, I've got a pretty good track record with that. But the problem is, when I want to work out later, I don't want to take it. Because I keep thinking I'm trying to work out in the morning today. I don't think I'm going to do it in the morning because it might break up my day too much. I don't know. I'm conflicted because I feel like if I don't do it early this morning, um, I might change my mind by like 3 o'clock or so. Um, but if I do it this morning, I'm kind of crunched for time and rushed to do it. But it would work better with my caffeine, so I might actually do it early, even though I don't want to really, but I might actually end up doing it early, actually. Because if I'm using the C4 to kind of get me pumped up to work out, I don't want to not work out, if that makes sense. So, I'll think it through. But I'm going to make some eggs for breakfast. I'm going to have eggs, toast, um, add all my salsas in because I love salsas, and then avocado. I don't know what else. Maybe a banana. I don't really know, but I'm gonna get on it. I got a lot to do today. But as far as the topic of skills, that's kind of what I got. Skills, tools. Those are the 3 tools I have at my disposal at the moment. They're all kind of substance based. Not all. But yeah, for the eating, it's more of like a thought process thing. For the exercising, yes, C4 helps, or caffeine of any kind. For the for sleep, the edibles are helping me. So I got a few minutes till 8. I'm gonna eat, have a little C4, get in a little exercise at like 8:45 a.m. or so once my food settles, and then get on with my morning. All right, guys. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully people can work on their tools and skills for their own benefit. And I'll be talking on here later. Thanks for listening.